Hey everyone, Mr.Scissors here, and I wanted to do a video on Apex in Langrisser, and when you should get started, what you have, how to play with what you have, when to try something new, should I build a meta box, should I not, and a lot of fundamentals that I really want to go over that I think we kind of tend to overlook and just say the words without really knowing what they mean. Some things that I want to go over actually is that I'm not a god tier player. Yeah, I've got some pretty skins and some good units built, but honestly, I don't even use them. This is the box that I'm playing this season, and this will make no sense to you, and probably half of you or even more are going to be laughing at me, but that's totally fine. My love for the Empire is unmatched. 1v1 me IRL, because Empire's the best, but before I get too far into that, I want to get into a word that is thrown around a lot, which is meta. So meta is how I'm going to define it in this case, which is Langrisser, is I consider it to be the objective analysis of what is good, and what is good is determined by the frequency of use versus its win-to-loss ratio. Most of the time, this is done by people at a much higher level than all of us, really, that are probably watching this video. This is done by the Langrisser people, Gold 1. A lot more of those people are going to have more well-built boxes. Maybe they've had more time to invest, or they've just kind of cashed in a bit more than the average player. But either way, it doesn't really matter. These people are going to be using the safest bet to get the best results. There are things to keep in mind, like, does that mean that X unit is unusable? No. That just means that they might not give you the best benefit. Most of the time, meta units are just very, very strong in their regard. Be that they are the best of single target, they are the best at AoE, they are the best at debuffing, or, they are good enough at both within reason to not be overcasted by someone else. You can substitute things, and I know some of you are going to shudder at this as I go back into my box, but I have actually tortured my friends with my Roga because, I have an all Empire box. It's something that I'm trying. But I actually took out Zerida for Roga. Yes, please laugh. It is completely crazy, and honestly, my Zerida isn't even that bad. Like, my Zerida is quite good. She's got a pretty good green. But the thing is, sometimes we make these sacrifices because I myself, I'm not Langrisser. I'm not really trying to become number one. I kind of play a little differently, and that's something you should find out yourself, is what do you want your playstyle to be? I go over this a little bit more in, like, what you want as new players and what you can expect as a new player. Like, when you are a new player, and I'm talking just getting in, just use your best 15 units. Like, it's what you got, it's what you're used to. Familiarity will just get you wins because you know what they do. Next up, mercenaries are your best friends. Honestly, this is good for everyone. Like, even grounded veteran players, doesn't matter. Sometimes another dude just has a way better unit than you do. Hey, it's there, it's free, you take it. Something else, too, that I always recommend is watch Dango's tier list videos. He actually has a great video right now, and I believe actually on this right here that Dango has a really good identification of, like, tank push rush supports. Yeah, you can see the photo, you can pause. Actually, I'll link right to the video. It's fantastic. He pulls a lot of his research from the Chinese seasons that are one ahead of us basically at all times, and they're a really good gauge or even guide to kind of plan your box ahead of time. You can kind of find out the playstyle that you like just by playing in general, or picking up mercenaries of certain characters that you're like, oh, I'll give them a shot. Because, it's a game, and we all play to win, but at the same time, this should be a time for you to test things. But going back to players, as you're new, plan ahead, get the units that you need for your box, but first of all, determine what playstyle you might try to enjoy the most. Maybe you like AoE debuffing. Maybe you like single target. Each have their strengths, their disadvantages and advantages, and it turns out that in Apex, a lot of times they have a big rotation of single target is strong this season, AoE is strong next season, and then they just keep kind of bouncing back and forth with new units being released, kind of countering the last season of. something that I have always liked is that there's never really a power creep yet, at least in units. I know items are starting to get a little bit up there, but compared to other games, it's not like you need a specific unit to clear hard content. But anyway, that's besides the point. This is what happens when you give me too much free time to keep just talking. Next up, as a grounded player, you should be close to finishing your strategy. You should have at least have identified if you want to be playing AoE or if you want to be playing single target, tank push, whatever. This should be identified, and you should be working towards this goal and making very good success. And you know what? Keep on planning. Don't stop there. Just keep going. There are new units being released, and you know what? Watch some PvP games and play them. Because the more you play, the more you'll play against people your own skill level, the more used you'll get to your units, and it's just good to learn. You know, placement's great. Watch some videos. You know, players are really good, and they love showing off how good they can be. Lots of people, actually, I've seen more YouTube accounts popping up that are replays of Langrisser games that you should really check out. Practice with your guildies. You know, this is actually, I'd throw this to all of you. You know, just play with people in your guild. You'd be surprised how good some of the people are. I accidentally found out that like one of the players in our guild is like a top 32 player right now, and that blew me away when he said that I was actually doing okay. So that was a silver 2 boy. I kind of grew up a little. But you know, play as much as you can. The more you play, the more experience you get, the more familiar you get with your units. And again, this one's a bit more targeted to everyone, but it's very easy to say that, you know, you learn from your mistakes. And it's very different to actually do that. When you go into a game and you lose, you should be able to determine why you lost. Maybe for the newer players, don't focus on this too much. Just focus on playing, having fun, just yeet your units in there and blow them up. Or if you're stall tank push, then you just... You hold the line and you just push as slow as you want. But, you know, you have your fun with it before you really start getting too hardcore serious. Or try hard. You know what? You know you the best. But when it comes to learning, when you've made a mistake, you have to be able to identify that. And if you don't learn from it, then it doesn't matter. Then it's just a phrase. Then you're just saying that, learning from my mistakes. I'm guilty of this. I think everyone's guilty of this, especially after your like 5, 6, 7, 8th game in a row that you're just kind of like, yeah, I messed up. But, you know, try to keep some of that stuff in your head. Sometimes it's a little out of your control. Like maybe it was just an unlucky for you breeze proc that just kind of caught you out. Things do happen. Or maybe their tank was on ice, you didn't know, and then you got frozen in the fog. One of the best times that I've ever had. But, you know, you should learn from your mistakes, no matter your skill level. Yeah, just to give you some insight about my team and what you can expect too as a player coming in here. I have built some really stupid units. Honestly, I don't care about hitting Langrisser. You know, to me, this isn't my number one game, actually, even though I do play it more than even League of Legends. I have my own little playstyle that I've developed myself. I wanted to make a challenge myself. I love the Empire units. I see that they actually have some very strong single target and AoE people. You know, they were a solid faction for me. I had a lot of the units coming into the game. So it only made sense. So just another quick point that I want to touch on before I really go away is that if there is a unit that you want to use, or like a box that you have that is really different, there are advantages. You know, with my Empire team, it might not be the best, but, you know, I get a lot more time in pick ban because the opponent is looking over my units more. It gives me a bit more time to formulate what I have. But something for you to keep in mind is that if you have things that people aren't familiar with, you have the element of surprise, but that doesn't work on everyone. So keep that in mind, that while having the element of surprise is good, especially even if you wanted to get into Langrisser level play and you were playing like games 1 through like best 2 out of 3, surprises only work once, especially with people at a very high skill level. So when you do start getting a bit more competitive, just keep that in mind, that your pocket ace only works once. It's not a cheat card. So when you do play in ranked, or when you are playing Apex, like, keep in mind that if you have a surprise box, yeah, you're going to surprise your opponent, and sometimes you'll steal a win. I just got dunked by a Noemi because I was unfamiliar with the character, and I was unsure to ban it, and you know what? I got dunked. But when you have a unit that you really like and you really want to play with them, throw it in there. Like, the worst thing that happens is that you lose. The best thing that happens is that you win, or you learn a bit more about that character. So make sure you have fun with it. You understand what you have, and it's a video game for all of us to play. So you know what? You get fun rewards for playing Apex, and that's pretty much it. I didn't really want to take this video too long. Just a couple of things that I want to point out to the end is that the meta isn't really formulated for everyone. Newer players, don't really worry about it. They are things to aspire to. For the average player, build it if you want to win. It is definitely try hard, and we are all playing this game to win. But if that's what you like, you build for that. If you have the extra resources and you want to do something silly, then you do what I do. You limit yourself to play a bit better, to learn new things. And if you are trying to try hard to reach number one, you know this advice might not really be for you, but you keep doing what you're doing. You obviously know a bit more than me, a lot more than me, so you keep pushing with that. But for everyone else, the meta doesn't really mean much to you because people don't have the max stats, they don't have the highest optimized builds. You know, if you're below gold 2, honestly, the meta doesn't really exist because you're just playing with what you have anyway. So just have fun with it. Well, that's pretty much it for me, guys. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the weekend, whenever you're watching this video, and have a good one. Actually, I lied. There's one more thing. This upcoming weekend, there's going to be a tournament for global versus Taiwan, Hong Kong players. So if you want to see some high-level gameplay, come check it out. Can't wait to see you there.